I call this meeting to order, the January Arizona State Transportation Board. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Lloyd, can you please lead us in the pledge?
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I apologize for making you run out there. Talking to folks. All right, Karen, can you please take a roll call?
Yes. Chairman Maxwell,
Here.
Vice Chair Howard, present. Board Member Elters,
Present.
Board Member Peshfakai,
Here.
Board Member Hermosillo, present. Board Member Bracker,
Here.
Board Member Daniels.
Here.
And Mayor Hermosillo, thank you for joining us virtually today. So there was a reason that Member Howard said we want to go back to Maricopa to start this year, because last year was a very busy year for State Transportation Board, and as well as for all of you who pretty much joined us everywhere we went. And so we figured, let's make it easy on them this time. We won't make a drive. Let's go back to Maricopa and we'll get started. But I want to thank you for the warm welcome you gave us yesterday. There's quite a facility out there at the Apex Motorsports, and appreciate all their time and effort to show us around and tell us what to do. But the most important piece was the ability to talk with the mayor and council and the board of supervisors, some of the members of the board of supervisors afterwards. That's why we come to towns to do this. We don't do them all in a single chamber. So I'm going to be encouraging all of our board members to make as many of these meetings in person, make as many of the evening or the breakfast meetings in person, because it's really important for us to continue to hear from you. But I did want to say that was quite an experience yesterday, and I want to thank everybody who was behind putting that together, and we really appreciate the communication. Did any other board members want to make any opening remarks this time? Vice Chair?
I too enjoyed myself. It gave me more adrenaline than the 10 coming in, which was amazing. It was good adrenaline. But again, thank you. I love going to the communities because every community has its gems, little hidden secrets and things that not everyone knows about. And I know this is one of Maricopa's many gems with their ingenuity that they have in their leadership, and just the things that we hear and talk about. I'm just very excited for the city itself and the residents as well. So thank you for the warm welcome, for the great evening, and I'm looking forward to the meeting today. Thank you.
Member Peshfakai.
Thank you. I just want to say I enjoy being here. This is the second time that I've been here, and you all have a lovely city. And I was fortunate to come in at a time yesterday that it was not a complete shutdown of the highways. And so I appreciate how welcoming you all are, and look forward to today. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to keep looking over at Member Daniels because I'm just wondering if she wants to. I just want to say thank you for continuing to be here. We appreciate your continued support on the board.
Glad to be here and always happy to be in Maricopa. Really appreciate the leadership of Mayor Smith and all that she does, not just for the community, but for the region as well. So, thank you.
All right, seeing no other comments, Floyd, can you please proceed with the announcement of the Title VI Civil Rights Act?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I would like to remind some of the people online are having a hard time to hear. Please get close to the microphone so we can pick it up. And remind them we do record this so we can play it online. If you miss something, you will be able to go to the Transportation Board's website and link on to the meeting. Pursuant to Title VI of the Civil Rights Acts of 1964 and the Americans with Disability Act, the Arizona State Transportation Board and ADOT do not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, or disability. No person will be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefit of, or be otherwise subjected to discrimination under any Arizona State Transportation Board or ADOT program or activities. To assist in measuring the public's participation, we ask each individual to please complete an online self-identification survey, and the link to that survey is on the agenda. For those who are in person, please fill out a survey card located at the entrance to the meeting room and leave the cards there. We will pick them up after the meeting. By completing this voluntary survey, ADOT will be able to determine who attends its public meetings and how the department can improve participation. The survey will also help ADOT fulfill federal reporting requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, Floyd. We're now going to move on to call to the audience. For those of you who are waiting telephonically or via WebEx to make your calls, please make sure that you're all muted. And when you call into the meeting and when your name is read, will you please virtually raise your hand, either through the use of your phone keypad or through the WebEx process. That will allow us to recognize you. The WebEx host will then guide you through the unmuting and muting process so that you can begin your comments and be included in the meeting. If you're here in person and have not yet filled out one of the speakers cards that you still want to speak, please do so. But we will start with the Honorable Mayor Nancy Smith, the Mayor of Maricopa.
Hello, good morning. So glad to have you here. I am excited that several of you were able to experience one of our city's facilities last night. And in fact, I heard from Jeremiah, one of the employees, that Chair Maxwell went so fast he thought it was going to get wings. It was a fun event, but most of all, just like Chair Maxwell indicated, it's the conversation that happens afterwards. And so we really appreciate you being here and having our City Council and our Supervisor have an opportunity to speak to you. I want to thank Vice Chair Howard. Thank you so much for recommending the City of Maricopa as the first meeting of 2026. We appreciate you being here. You can see by the crowd we have people that are interested in what happens at these board meetings. So thank you very much. You have been a wonderful partner. I always enjoy our conversations, and you've served the district so well in terms of what you represent. You have a big area to represent, and you've done such a great job. Thank you so very, very much. I first want to start with the fact that last meeting in Queen Creek, Jen Daniels asked for a discussion in how Casablanca ended up not to be an opportunity for an overpass, and thank you very much, Director Toth. She sent out some staff members to come and explain it. They did a phenomenal job, and I want you all to know that. You'll probably hear from some of those that attended the meeting today on that, so I won't elaborate much. But a wonderful, phenomenal job at explaining exactly how that decision was made and why it was critical to make that decision. So I really appreciate that very much. We love the fact that the ADOT has appointed or selected a contractor. That's phenomenal. I love that this is moving at a fast pace. In fact, just to give you a little idea about what our residents think, some of the comments that I've read and some of the phone calls and text messages and face-to-face calls is basically, this is really happening in my lifetime? And so, it's moving fast. We appreciate it, and we appreciate the attention to this. And so I just want to thank you so much. Things are headed in the right direction in regards to the projects that are listed on the State Route 347 project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. And now we'll go to Vice Mayor of Maricopa, Vincent Andretti.
Along the same lines as our mayor, I want to thank you all for coming down. You have 91 cities and towns to choose from when having these meetings, and picking the first meeting of 2026 as the City of Maricopa, it was very important. It shows not only us in the City of Maricopa, but all the residents in the City of Maricopa, how important the project that you guys have worked so hard to get past the finish well, at the start line. Have you worked so hard to get to this point? It just shows that you do recognize it, you understand it, and coming down here to just give us an opportunity to say thank you to you. I also want to say again, thank you again for the meeting that we had earlier in the week, where we were able to discuss the reasoning behind the Casablanca and the cement plant road. Having staff come down, and I was just talking to Director Toth about it, and having staff come down and sit down with residents in the City of Maricopa to explain something so complex. and taking time out of the day and just coming down and having that conversation again shows that ADOT is a partner in this process. We're working together to get stuff done. And I appreciate it so much, and that's about it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Now, Mr. Ron Ingram. Good to see you.
Thank you, Chair, and members of the ADOT Board for this opportunity to speak to you again about State Route 347. First, I sincerely want to thank you for sending your A-team to Maricopa earlier this week. They did an excellent job of explaining the who and the how behind the grade separation decision at Cement Plant versus Casablanca. Also, hearing about the progress coming out of the contractor kickoff meeting was also very encouraging. Go ADOT! I'm sure many of you have already seen the news regarding yesterday's fatal accident on State Route 347. Unfortunately, I was caught in the aftermath. When the northbound lanes were shut down, traffic came to a standstill. I checked my navigation app and saw my normal 35-minute commute to East Channel had grown to 1 hour and 23 minutes. When I reached Casablanca on the 347 interchange, law enforcement directed all traffic onto Casablanca for the detour. My navigation immediately jumped to 2 hours. Diverting traffic to Casablanca isn't a great solution. As the congestion increased, my navigation system began routing drivers, including me, onto dirt roads and narrow lanes along irrigation channels in an attempt to save time. Recognizing how unsafe and impractical this was, I ultimately canceled my trip to head back home. Many other drivers did the same, resulting in bumper-to-bumper traffic on Casablanca, this time in the opposite direction. Unfortunately, that wasn't the end of it. While turning right from Field Road onto Casablanca, I hit a large pothole I couldn't see in the traffic. It blew out my right front tire. I was able to limp back into Maricopa, where a tire replacement and alignment cost me $700 on my new 2025 Equinox. I mention that only because this vehicle replaced my other car that was totaled 8 months ago when my son was rear-ended at Casablanca in 347. I share the story not for sympathy, but to illustrate the daily challenges and real safety risks that exist on this corridor. Yesterday was not an anomaly. It is a typical example of what happens when something goes wrong. Yesterday, I was the lucky one. I deeply appreciate the work ADOT is doing and the acceleration we're already seeing. Anything that can be done to continue this great momentum is critically important to our community. In closing, while I better understand the challenges surrounding the removal of the traffic light at Casablanca, I would like to respectfully emphasize that it still remains a critical safety issue, one that still needs to be addressed as part of the solution for State Route 347. Once again, thank you for your time, your engagement, and your continued partnership.
Thank you, sir. Jennifer O'Connor.
Good morning, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunities to speak with you today. My name is Jen O'Connor, and I am the Planning Director for Northern Arizona Council of Governments, NACOG. As you know, our planning boundary extends from the Verde Valley in Yavapai County to the Four Corners and includes 4 counties, 5 tribes, 22 incorporated cities and towns, and 2 metropolitan planning organizations. I'm here today to speak to you about NACOG's Regional Priority Projects List, our fiscally constrained list of roadway infrastructure projects from across the 4-county region, Apache, Coconino, Navajo, and Yavapai counties. This list was developed in response to the request from the Rural Transportation Advocacy Council, RTAC, to create a statewide list of rural roadway projects for the state legislature, commonly known as the RTAC bill, which I know you're very familiar with. NACOG's current Regional Priority Projects list includes 15 projects from across the region, valued at $81 million. While NACOG's RPPL represents only a small fraction of the roadway infrastructure needs across the region, it aims to advocate for the projects that are of the highest priority at both the local and regional levels. Our Northern Arizona communities have long faced the challenge of funding roadway maintenance and keeping up with the wear and tear on the transportation infrastructure. In many instances, the local street system includes state highways that serve as both small-town main streets and freight corridors, further wearing away the pavement. In addition, population growth and tourism increase traffic on local roads, placing pressure on our municipalities and tribes to upgrade or pave roadways that previously have seen very low use. The City of Sedona is here today to speak to you about the importance of their SR 89 Forest Ranger Road roundabout project, which is ranked second on our regional priority projects list. As you will hear, this congestion relief project will bring much needed connectivity in Sedona to Sedona's roadway network, which can become gridlocked during high volume periods, especially during the tourism season, causing significant delays and safety issues. And Curtis is here to talk to you about that. Increased transportation funding is greatly needed for Northern Arizona's rural communities. NACOG respectfully asks the State Transportation Board to continue to search for long-term funding solutions for our state roadways. In the meantime, we hope that you continue to support the state legislature's efforts to set aside one-time funding for rural road projects. Additionally, NACOG will maintain our education and outreach efforts with the state legislature, ADOT, and the governor's office about the importance of the AZ SMART program and the need for additional funding to keep the program active. Our region and the NACOG region has been awarded 20 of the 48 Arizona SMART Fund awards and is actively pursuing additional grants to support our federal grant application activities. Finally, we look forward to seeing you in October in Flagstaff for the next Transportation Policy Summit, which will be hosted jointly by NACOG with our friends from MetroPlan. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Now go to State Representative Teresa Martinez.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I am State Representative Teresa Martinez, and welcome to my district. I don't normally come to ADOT board meetings because we at the legislature think we can do whatever we want. So, as long as the governor signs off. Pinal County in the city of Maricopa, according to ChatGPT, 76,654 residents. Some local estimates put the mid-2024 population a bit higher, around 81,000 people in this one area, with basically only two ways to get out, the 347 and Maricopa Casa Grande Freeway. I am not only the state representative for this district, but I'm also the vice chair of transportation, and I've recently become the chairman of the Rural and Economic Development. I'm here to tell you in person, and Director Toth, I'm so glad that you were able to be here. I have a lot of respect for this woman. She works very hard at ADOT. That roads are my number one priority in the state legislature. Water is a very, very, very close second. Understand that human life is lost on these freeways. And economic development depends on infrastructure all over the state of Arizona. And I'm going to tell you that we are going to fight not only to keep the funding of the 347, we're going to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And I think you can tell by the tenacity of these folks in the community that literally show up almost every single meeting, no matter where in the state, either virtually or in person. That's the commitment that the town of Maricopa, that the city of Maricopa has for the 347. And I'm here to say that they have not one, not two, but 3 representatives at the state legislature that intend to make it clear to the entire body as well as the governor that the 347, the I-10 are going to happen. They need to happen efficiently and quickly. And I have the utmost faith in Director Toth that will happen. As a FYI, I am also going to, once the I-10 is where it needs to be, and I feel very comfortable that the I-10 is going well, once the 347 starts that path, that I think that I can start to look, my next road will be the I-11. And I look forward to the director in our very upcoming meeting. We have a couple of roads, the I-11, as well as Sossaman Road down in Red Rock. But I want to just be here in person to tell you that, face to face, that we will at the legislature be fighting tooth and nail for the 347 in any way we can. And with that, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Representative Martinez. Kurt Harris.
Good morning, State Transportation Board. I'm Kurt Harris. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend. I'm the Public Works Director, City Engineer for the City of Sedona. I worked with Jennifer Toth on State Route 179 when that was constructed in 2008 to 2012. I'm here today to follow up what Jennifer O'Connor mentioned about the NACOG Regional Project Priorities List. The project I helped develop and design, we're at 100% design. We call Sedona in Motion, 5E. 5 is our strategies. There's 12 strategies that came from our city transportation master plan. Since 2018, the city's invested $100 million. I handed a packet out to you that has more details. You're more than welcome to read through that. I won't go through the details like that. And this city's also invested about $30 million in infrastructure improvements in our uptown to relieve peak traffic congestion during high visitation. So we're here today at the request of our state legislatures. Wendy Rogers is the one that says you need to tell your story to the State Transportation Board. So that's why I'm here today. This roundabout is going to be essential on creating a bypass. We've just extended the Forest Road extension, and we'll be completing a parking garage in Uptown, a 270 space. So this roundabout is in ADOT right-of-way. It's going to be instrumental in finishing our city master transportation plan to provide that connectivity, mobility. More importantly, we're going to have preemption, and we're going to use intelligent transportation systems up and down the 89 corridor. The Y roundabout is where 89A and State Route 179 meet. That's the major connecting points between Flagstaff and the Verde Valley. Also in process is the Verde Valley Master Transportation Plan that's regionally identified these projects in Sedona to provide that connectivity, mobility throughout the whole Verde Valley. My point is, it's not just a city project, it's a regional project that we're doing. So we've applied 4 years ago for about an $8 million ask. We're going to commit 20% up to 30%, and I'm willing to work on reducing those costs that the city can absorb because there's a sister roundabout, Ranger Brewer, to provide that bypass to the congestion at the Y roundabout. This year we're going to put in adaptive signals and metering. We're under an encroachment permit at the Y roundabout right now. So the council's directed us to get outside funding because of the fatigue the city has invested in their transportation improvement process. So that's why I'm here today. I plan to attend remotely the more state transportation boards because it's so important. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Paul Bozacelli. I hope I did not get that.
Yes, you did, sir. Thank you all very much for coming here. When my wife and I moved out to Arizona from New York in 2018, the realtor from the Chandler area took us for a ride down 347 from Chandler to Maricopa to look at the Province development where we live now. And it was a Saturday midday, not much traffic. We were down there 15, 20 minutes. And I said to myself, oh, this is fine, this is doable. And I wound up buying here. I was able to get a job once I came out here in 2019 and 2020. I went into Phoenix every day until the COVID came. Then I worked from home, and after that, at the end of 2020, I said, I'm retiring. And, through the years since then, I've seen the traffic just build on that road, and we realized too, my real question is, when the work starts, and it'll probably land, I don't know if any of this has really been developed yet, but, it'll take a couple of years. There'll be, generally with anything like this, I've seen lane restrictions. I mean, if we have two lanes in each way now, if they're doing work, do you have any thoughts as to whether this will be narrowed down to one lane during the travel times, or has anybody addressed that, what to do? I know it's a narrow road, but that basically is my question.
Thank you, sir. We are not allowed to engage during the call of the audience, but I think you heard that the team is already working with the city of Maricopa to follow up with your local officials, and I think you're going to get those answers.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Jason Boten.
Good morning. Chairman Maxwell, State Transportation Board members, my name is Jason Botchin. I'm the Deputy Director with Sun Corridor Metropolitan Planning Organization. I want to start by just thanking ADOT staff and this board for the good work that they have done and the partnership and collaboration within our region over the years. As you consider the FY27 to 31 tentative 5-year construction program, I want to call to your attention a critical pavement preservation project in the city of Casa Grande. The project segments on Pinal Avenue from the junction of SR 84 and 387 to the Santa Cruz Wash, and from the Santa Cruz Wash to I-10. They ranked first and second in both the South Central District and the statewide P2P process for pavement preservation. Given its importance and high ranking, I respectfully ask that the board give this pavement preservation project full approval as you move forward in finalizing the FY27 to 31 program. Thank you for your consideration and continued support of Pinal County.
Thank you, sir. Bill Robertson.
Good morning, Board. Chairman Maxwell and Board. I'm Bill Robertson, citizen of the City of Maricopa, also serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission and a member of the 347facts.com committee. I'm not going to rehash everything you've heard so far. They covered a lot of my points already. But welcome to Maricopa. We're glad to have you here. Last week we had the A-team from the staff sent down. Once again, a few of us residents were invited to that meeting, and it's not common to see that level of authority coming into a community to meet with the residents. They typically meet with the mayors and city council, but you invited members of the public. A couple of us were invited, and that was a privilege to be there and understand how the sausage is made. We've worked with you for the last couple of years on the 347, and it's been remarkable. We've got to the starting line. We're ready to fire the starting gun, and we'll get this project finished. A couple of things I'd like to talk about, though. If you came in yesterday and you came in after 11 o'clock in the morning, you dodged a bullet. We had the perfect storm between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. yesterday on 347 and the region. First, we had a fatal motorcycle accident that closed 347 from 5:30 a.m. roughly to about 11 a.m. Then traffic, as Ron said, was diverted onto Casablanca Highway, and later on, a few hours later, they had a crash closing that road. Must have been after Ron got his tire fixed and got home. So then they started diverting traffic. Everybody's going through Maricopa Casa Grande Highway, using that as an alternative. And guess what happens there at Val Vista? A crash, closing all 3 major arteries within the same 3 or 4 hours into our community. You missed the perfect storm. In the 12 years I've lived here, I've seen 347 close numerous times, but never had a perfect storm like this. Our only out then was to go all the way down to 84 or go out to 38 to 85 and up to Buckeye back into the West Valley. So just think about that for a moment. The perfect storm doesn't happen very often, but we learned that it does happen. I'm concerned about our funding. There's already rumors, and you've heard them, that the state might be in a little bit of funding trouble again, and we need to do everything. That's going to be my ask of you and the staff, is to protect the 347 funding as we move through the budget process. I know you're committed to it. I know you have some limited abilities to impact that, but I can guarantee you that the citizens of Maricopa will be on guard, watching for any movement in the wrong direction with funding coming out of the governor's office potentially. So we need to secure the funding. The 5-year plan is also coming up for review, the next 5-year plan. We know that the 5-year plan sounds like a lock in the game, but it's really not, because we know that every year the 5-year plan is reviewed. Some things are added and some things are detracted. Protect 347 in that review. If there's any chatter, please push back and protect 347, both in the funding mechanism and the 5-year review plan. Thank you so much for your cooperation and work that you've brought to this community. We notice it, we see it, we participated in it, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Supervisor Rich Patel.
Good morning, board members. Thank you for coming to Maricopa. We love seeing you here. We love seeing you throughout the state as we attend all these meetings. The state of Arizona is blessed to have 7 people who care about the state. I want to thank you for that, and God bless you for what you do. Staff, too. We are very lucky to have a staff who works so diligently with all the cities and towns throughout the state of Arizona. In the past, we've always spoke about 347 North. It is obviously a passion of all of us who live here in the city. Now, as a county supervisor, I now have to worry about the 347 South, as I mentioned in last month's meeting in Queen Creek. So, with 118,000 homes plotted to be built south of the tracks, we're going to have another issue with the 347. I know it's going to take some time, but I just want to keep it in the back of your minds that 118,000 homes will probably happen over the next, 10, 20, 30 years. If I had a crystal ball, I'd be able to tell you that. But it's going to happen. And with 118,000 actually plus homes, we are going to need to make sure we have the 347 South, which most of that traffic will come north to get to Phoenix and Chandler and Gilbert, where most of the jobs are. Our developers keep telling us that there's plenty of jobs coming east of here. Well, when they show me a list of 10,000 jobs available with 118,000 homes, with 2.2 people average in a home, that's 236,000 cars. I don't know how they're going to get up to 347. I don't know how they're going to get down Maricopa-Casa Grande Highway. I don't know how they're going to get down 84. But this is what these developers keep telling us. So I just want to bring it to your attention that the 347 South will be one of the things that you'll be hearing from myself, probably Teresa Martinez, and I'm sure the city of Maricopa will help us out with this too. Because again, we are one team with one goal, to protect our citizens and make sure that we can go to work, get home from work, and enjoy our families, just like you do every day traveling all over the state for all these meetings. So God bless you, Happy New Year, and thank you for what you do.
Staff City Council.
Thank you.
Oh, so it wasn't my fault. Thank you, Floyd. I appreciate it. All right, we are now at the point where we'll go to the WebEx callers. We have one person that would like to speak today, and that's Flagstaff City Council member Austin Islam.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. Thank you so much. I trust you can hear me. My name is Austin Haslam. I am the longest serving city council member up here in Flagstaff. Greetings from snowy, frigid lands. I'm here today to talk about the Metro Plan Region's priority project on the state highway system, the US 180 safety improvements, which will make it easier for our community members to get home safely on one of our region's highest crash roadways. From 2018 to 2022, ADOT conducted a corridor master plan to study improvements alongside partners from 9 agencies to identify these improvements. And this request is to implement the findings from that effort. There is an elementary school on this corridor with our sidewalks leading to it from the south. There are no signals or lighted crossings for over 3 miles in this core part of Flagstaff. And the lack of crossing leads to pedestrians running across the highway to get from their neighborhood to the schools or parks on the other side of the road. The inability to cross this road is one of the city's top transportation complaints. and recipe for disaster. MetroPlan's members, Coconino County, us, the City of Flagstaff, Mountain Lion, and NAU held a workshop to prioritize our number one need on the state highway system so we can clearly communicate it to ADOT. All the partners unanimously voted this project as our number one need. MetroPlan partners are stepping up to help moving components of ADOT's US 180 corridor master plan forward on their own at a cost of $3 million. We're asking ADOT to step up to finish implementing the plan for an estimated $5.6 million more. This project has previously been in the 5-year plan, but it was later removed, and we urge you to do another 180 to include the US 180 project in your next update on your 5-year capital plan. Thank you all very much, and see you up here in October. It'll be a really pleasant time here for you guys to come visit us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, that is all the speakers we had today, so we'll close call the audience and we'll move on to the director's report. Director Todd.
Good morning. So thank you to the City of Maricopa for welcoming us. We greatly appreciate your hospitality. I do have a few agency highlights to share today, and then in terms of last minute items, I'll report on the question about construction of 347 and lane restrictions. So first up, I want to share, wish Happy New Year to everyone, and welcome Chairman Maxwell and Vice Chair Howard into your new roles. We're very happy to work with you and looking forward to a very busy and productive 2026. Already we've heard the Governor's State of the State address earlier this week, and when the legislative session also kicked off. We'll see the Governor's budget later today, and once we've had a chance to review that, we'll continue to keep you posted on the potential impacts to ADOT. So moving on, next slide please. I'll share some fun news. ADOT plowed the way to victory in the 2025 APS Electric Light Parade, earning the Best Government Entry Award. The winning floats were a snowplow decked out in festive lights and a truck and trailer hauling Santa's sleigh and a reindeer. These were the festive works of our Mesa maintenance unit and also other ADOT volunteers. So this year the team added a snow machine on the back of the sleigh, which really brought a lot of fun to the kids and the families on the route. So a big congratulations to everyone who participated and helped earn that award. So speaking of snowplows, next slide, we do have snowplow season. Just a reminder that it is this time of year when we see the snow, as we were reminded by the council member just now. It is a wintry part of our states. When that happens, the plows are out, and we definitely need the drivers to slow down and be patient. Just this week, we released a new episode on our podcast, which featured one of our snowplow drivers, who is based out of our little antelope maintenance yard along I-17 in Munns Park there. So he discussed what goes into clearing the snow and shared some safety tips for drivers, including staying at least 4 car lengths behind snowplows and equipment. Watch out for snowplows operating in multiple travel lanes or when they're in tandem with each other. And if approaching an oncoming snowplow, slow down and give that plow, please give them some extra room. So I encourage you to give the podcast a listen, and you can subscribe through Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Or you can also find it on our website. Next slide, please. It's also a great idea to check in with ADOT before hitting the road. We have the AZ 511 system, or dial 511, for updated road and weather conditions. And we also have an app, the AZ 511 app, that people can download onto their phone. So it connects you with our traveler information, gives you a great resource for information on traffic and crashes and construction and closures, as well as alternate routes for drivers to avoid those backups. So in terms of last minute items, to address the question on 347,
We are going to be using a construction manager at risk contracting method, and that allows the contractor to sit at the table and assist us with the maintenance of traffic and the phasing. We will be pushing traffic to the outside shoulders to try to maintain those 2 lanes during the day, and then night work when lane restrictions are needed. I will not say we will never have a lane restriction. That's very hard to do under construction, but we are going to try to minimize that as much as possible. And with that, I'll turn it over to Amy Love to give us a legislative report for current activities.
Thank you so much, Director. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Chairman Maxwell, welcome. It's wonderful to go work with you. Outgoing Chair Daniels, thank you for your service to the board. I'm sorry I'm not there in person, but it is very, very busy down at the state capitol, and we already have lots to talk about. Next slide, please. So I sent this slide deck over yesterday, and I'm already a liar because we are well past 800 bills introduced. I think we're probably now closer to well over 1,200. So there were, I believe, more bills pre-filed this session than ever before. The rumor we heard last week where the Legislative Council is seeing 7 times the normal amount of bills introduced or pre-filed before session even began. The great part about all of these bills being pre-filed, though, was it gave us an opportunity to begin going through them and reviewing all of them and start distributing them to our various divisions for impact. And there are several that I wanted to just bring to the board's attention today, and also make sure that everyone is aware that we also have a web link that you hopefully received that throughout the session, and any time as we add more bills to your tracking list, you'll be able to visit that site and refresh the page, and as more bills are added, they will automatically populate. And you should see a summary as well as information on where each bill is in the process. And if for some reason you have any issues opening that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and I'll be happy to help troubleshoot. Next slide, please. So a couple of key dates ahead. The executive budget will be released later today, and February 2nd will be the last day for Senate members to introduce bills, and February 9th will be the last day for House members to introduce bills, although there is now currently a 7-bill limit imposed on the 60 members of the State House. So again, they still have quite a bit of time to continue introducing bills. So I imagine we'll see quite a few more in the days and weeks ahead, and we'll be sure to add those to the tracking list for the board so that you are apprised of the movement as it occurs. Next slide, please. So the first 2 bills that I wanted to just flag for the board that would impact the work, the first is related to public records and responding to them. Namely requires anyone that hosts public meetings or has public records to respond within 5 days and fulfill that record request within 15 business days. The second bill, 2148, non-custodial federal monies appropriation. This is a bill that is often introduced at the legislature. I've seen it. This is now my 20th session, if you can believe that. And it's quite common to see a bill introduced that would allow the legislature to have authority over non-custodial federal dollars, the federal block grants, federal monies intended for general revenue sharing, or anything that provides broad authority for the state to develop, implement, or operate a program or service. And if you're interested in either of these bills, they are on the tracking list, and as we move through the process, you'll be able to see if they've received a hearing, and again, always reach out if you have questions. Next slide, please. So there are a lot of funding bills that have already been introduced. I believe I have several slides, so I won't touch on all of them, but there are a few that I wanted to just bring to the board's attention because they have already been scheduled for a hearing next week. The first is Senate Bill 1059, which you see here. This would appropriate $9,200,000 from the State General Fund for planning, design, and construction and acquiring right-of-way for an additional right turn lane at the State Route 87 onto SR 260 in Payson. That bill will be heard Tuesday afternoon in Mr. Farnsworth's Transportation and Appropriations Committee. He will also be hearing Senate Bill 1062, appropriation Route 60 intersection improvements, which would appropriate $1 million from the state general fund for for improvement at the intersection of US 60 and Superstition Mountain Drive. And there is Senate Bill 1064, appropriation US Route 66 improvements, appropriating $3 million to the city of Flagstaff for improvements along State Route 66. That bill is also scheduled for a hearing this Tuesday. So those three bills will be heard this coming week, and we'll have an update for you all at the next meeting. And not to reiterate, but very happy that the web report you have will show you the results of that hearing if you're interested, and just can't possibly wait till the next meeting. Next slide, please. And again, we'll go into all of these. As far as I know, none of these have been scheduled for a hearing yet, but there are several bills in the House that will also be appropriating monies to various projects around the state. Some of them appropriate monies directly to ADOT for design, construction, etc. Others will simply serve as a pass-through. So to the extent we are the pass-through, I tried to note that in the summaries here. Next slide, please. And again, several more bills in the House. I'll draw your attention to House Bill 2273. This bill appropriates monies that are remaining from the Pinal County excise tax. So this is, I don't believe, scheduled for the hearing yet, but there's quite a lot of various projects in there. So I wanted to flag that one for you as well. Next slide, please. And again, several more appropriations in the House. Another bill I would draw your attention to is House Bill 2304, Appropriations Transportation Projects. This is the annual RTAC bill that makes various appropriations for rural transportation projects. And I apologize for not providing more information on all of the projects within that bill, but it's rather lengthy. But you are certainly able, from the tracking list that you have, to select and click on the link to the bill, and it will take you directly to the text of the bill if you'd like to see all of the projects that are included in the annual RTAC bill. Next slide, please. And then finally, there is a House concurrent memorial that is basically a postcard to the EPA administrator urging the federal tax on Arizona's clean burning gas in Maricopa and Pinal to be eliminated. And that is all I have for you. Next slide. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
So when you push the button, you don't get the green light?
So I tried, okay, I got it, yeah, so maybe I have to turn it on every time instead of leaving it on for a long period of time. Lesson. Any board members have any questions for Amy first? Okay, Amy, I do have one, and since we're sitting in Pinal, and it's an impact 2273. So those Pinal excise tax dollars are not going to be, as I understand it, they will not be coming out of the general fund budget, or is it already embedded in the general fund budget for the legislature? Where will those dollars truly come from, and where do they sit now?
And that's right, Mr. Chairman. Let me pull that one back up. So 2067?
No, 22, I think it was 2273. It was the one that was dealing with the Pinal excise tax and the use of the funds.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, 2273. Let me pull that up.
I think what we see on this is there's a lot of legislative movement into the funds for infrastructure in the state, which is good. I don't think anybody's ever going to complain about that. But at the same time, it's very specific and targeted. I'm just wondering if that bill is dependent on the general funds and part of the overall budget.
Oh, I apologize. No, sir. No, these would be monies that have been collected pursuant to the, I believe it's the half-cent sales tax that I believe are in a separate fund, but I am not an expert on that, so I apologize. The bill does not reference the general fund. No.
Okay, thank you. I think, Director, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that they are
the Pinal County transportation tax that was litigated, there's funds still in the treasurer's office, and I believe those funds are what is referenced there to be redistributed to projects. But we will verify that and get back to you.
It's just one that I think is important for the folks listening, especially if you understand if it's going to have an impact on the general fund or not, because there's going to be advocacy both for and against all these, because they're all in competition for limited funds this year. So I appreciate that explanation. Any other questions for Amy? Any questions from members of the board for the director? Okay. Thank you, Amy, for what you're doing there. 20 years is amazing that working in that environment for that long, so we appreciate it. And please, we look forward to keeping hearing your updates. And the director, thank you for the report.
Thank you. Have a wonderful 3-day weekend.
I wish it was a 3-day weekend for all of us. All right, we do not have a district report, as I understand it, today.
That's correct, Mr. Chair. We'll be in this district multiple times this year, so, and you all got an update from Randy Everett just last month as well. So we forgo this one.
Okay, thank you, Floyd. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Does any member have or want any items that might be removed from the consent agenda? All right, hearing nothing to be removed, do I have a motion? Move to remove the consent agenda.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion by member Bracker and a second by Vice Chair Howard. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I heard Mayor Hermosillo's response. Any opposed? All right, the chair votes aye as well. Consent agenda passes unanimously. Let's move on to item 4, one of our favorite moments every day, and I'm looking forward to welcoming Tim Newton as the new CFO, and this will be the first time in that capacity, I believe, that you will get up and brief us in detail. So looking forward, welcome Tim, and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Chairman Maxwell, and good morning. Good morning, board.
Tim, is your microphone on?
It's on.
Looks like it's on, Floyd.
The green light's on?
Green light is on. I'm really tempted to push the red button to see what happens.
Oh, I wouldn't touch that. You might have to speak a little bit louder.
Okay.
You're not coming clearly.
Try again. Okay, great. Good advice, thank you. As board member, Chairman Maxwell said, my name is Tim Newton. I'm the ADOT CFO for almost 2 weeks now. When I walked in this morning, I met Irene Higgs, and she said, "Good to meet you. You have awfully big shoes to fill." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, no pressure." Well, thank you, Irene. So I've got the next few agenda items, and we're going to start with the financial report. Next slide, please. Let's start with the Highway User Revenue Fund, or HERF, and these are the year-to-date numbers. As you can see, we're 0.6% below our projection, but still within our target range. Through December, we've collected about $897 million, and really right where we want to be for this time of year. Next slide, please. This is a snapshot of HERF for the month of December, and as you can see on the screen there, a lot of the categories are under the prior year and under our projected amounts. Again, 1 month, standalone. Nothing to really be concerned about. I went back for like the last 24 months. There's fluctuation from month to month. Mostly concerned with where are we year to date, and as you saw in the previous slide, we're within our target range. Having said that, the used fuel caught my eye, and I asked the team, "Hey, nothing to worry about, but please just check this out, put some feelers out. Is there any reason why diesel might be lower in the month of December?" They did some research, came across some factors that could potentially influence our diesel collection, most notably the container volumes at the Port of LA and the Port of Long Beach. When we looked at those container volumes, This December, compared to the year before, they were down 9.5%. So that's a potential impact on our diesel revenue, fewer containers being transported across the state. Also asked them, hey, put motor carriers and registration on your keep an eye on list, just to see if it becomes a trend. Next slide, please. Okay, so Regional Area Road Fund, or RAF. As the board may remember, we're a little bit lagging in RAF data. By the time the sales taxes are collected, they go to DOR, they come to ADOT. So we have 5 months worth of RAF data. And again, it's looking pretty good, right within our target range, 1.3% over projections, but right where we want to be. Next slide, please. And again, so here's our snapshot of the month of November for our RAF revenue. I did have the team, again, just one point in time doesn't make a trend, but I had the team say, just take a look at contracting. We see that it's down from projections and down over the prior year. We would typically go to the federal government resources and look at things like contract employment. Unfortunately, with the Fed shutdown, our typical sources of data were not available. The team did find in a contracting periodical some information that said that Arizona had the steepest drop in contract employment from October to November when compared to sister states. Not typically the authoritative source that we go to, but something to just to keep an eye on. The other two in this monthly snapshot that caught my eye were the rental of real property and the rental of personal property. They are, at least for the month of November, well over the prior year and well over our estimates. Our team is beginning to do some research. Their preliminary research, at least on real property, they're saying the semiconductor boom in Arizona is causing industrial space to become sort of a premium, and therefore rental of that industrial space is in high demand. Just scratching the surface on it, there's probably many more contributing factors, but that's what they've uncovered so far. All right, next slide, please. Don't really have anything to report on this slide other than to say I've got some really exciting agenda items coming up that deal with debt financing program. So Jim Maxwell and board, I'm happy to take questions on the finance component or happy to move on to the debt topic.
Any board members have any questions regarding the financial report? All right, Tim, let's go ahead and move into the debt topic, and I'll let you explain it because it's got a long name.
Next slide, please. Okay, so this morning I'm seeking the board's approval to refinance some outstanding debt and to issue some new debt. I'd like to start with the refinancing, if you will. And we have been working with our financial advisors, RBC Capital. I have a phone a friend in the audience from RBC in case you guys come up with some very challenging bond questions. But we're proposing to refinance our outstanding HERF 2016 and our outstanding HERF 2020 debt. Basically, taking some higher interest rate debt, replacing it with lower interest rate debt. It's estimated we could save the department about $31.3 million by going ahead with these refinancings. We plan to tackle it in two different ways. The HERF 2016, with an outstanding principal of $194 million, is ready to be refinanced, refunded. And the way we would do that is very much like refinancing your house. We have a current interest rate of about 5%. And we expect that we would get a true interest cost of about 2.68% should we refund the HERF 2016, and that's anticipated to save the agency about $21.7 million. The HERF 2020, a little bit trickier. with the way we would go about prepaying or defeasing it. We have $191 million worth of outstanding principal, about 232 with principal and interest, 232 million that we'd have to pay over the life of the debt. What we would propose to do with that, and it's not really ready to be refunded, and we're not actually sure it will ever be a good candidate for being refunded, as it's taxable debt, and those interest rates have gone up. But we propose taking state highway fund dollars, $191 million from the state highway fund, and just pay out or defease that HERF 2020 debt. The trick is we need that $191 million to put on projects, so we would reissue the debt, make it a HERF 2026 debt. Lower interest rates. We're anticipating a little over a $9 million saving if we get the go-ahead to proceed with refinancing the 2020 debt. As the note says on your screen there, same terms, so we're not like stretching the debt over a longer period or anything like that. That's it for the refinancing.
Questions? All right, we're taking this in two separate chunks, the refinancing, and we'll go on to the 2026 bonds later. So do any board members have any specific questions for Tim regarding the move for the refinancing?
So Chairman, thank you. Tim, nice to meet you. Welcome to ADOT. My question assumes that there will be alignment between when the 2020 debt is paid from state fund and when the new 2026 bond is extended, so that the state fund, the $191 million, is available at all times, and there's no gap, or at least not a substantial gap in between those two steps. Is that correct?
Yes, Board Member Ellis, that's exactly right. It's very short gap, and we won't be out of pocket for very long.
Thank you.
Vice Chair.
First of all, I appreciate your due diligence in staff and researching to bring us the information when the numbers and the percentages are wrong. And in that respect, so thank you so much. So I'm understanding that the $500 million in new bonds, the 191 would be part of that $500 million, or is that two separate?
On top of. So it would be, in addition to.
500 plus one.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Member Brecker.
Excuse me. Congratulations on your
Thank you.
getting up. What I just heard you say is you're going to pay off, there's going to be the gap, and then you're going to refinance?
Yes, but it's almost simultaneous.
So they're not days or weeks, it's...
Right.
Thank you very much for that.
All right, Tim, I've got one more question.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, those savings are all present value dollars. So you've already adjusted everything for maybe the longer time period of paying off.
Yes, Chairman Maxwell, my apologies. That's important, and yes, it is. Present value.
Okay, so just to kind of be clear with the public, what's the risk, if there is any, of doing this?
The risk is the market changes dramatically between now and when we actually go to market. The chance of that is pretty slim. We've been working with RBC, our advisors. They've been doing this for a long time, so very little risk. And should the market dramatically change, then we would sit.
Okay, so if the market was to change between now and the time when you're anticipating making these changes in March or April, you'd come back to us if the ranges have...
Yes, sir. We would not go ahead if it wasn't a win for the agency.
Okay. Thank you. That's good to know. All right. Is there a motion to approve authorizing a resolution to prepay or redeem all or a portion of the board's Board's FERC Revenue Series 2016-2020 bonds as presented for the purpose of achieving debt service savings.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Member Daniels and a second by Member Elters. Any further discussion amongst the board? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the chair votes aye as well. Passes. The motion passes unanimously. All right, Tim, can we move on to the resolution to reauthorize, or authorize the
Certainly.
2026 bonds?
And so this request is to have the board approve $500 million worth of new debt issuance for the highway construction program. As you may recall, when we build the financing behind the 5-year program, we build in that debt. This $500 million is in the 26 through 30 program. So it's there and intended to be issued in 26, and I'm just coming to the board today to say, would you support moving ahead with that issuance?
And can you talk through, you mentioned it as the risk, can you talk through the steps we've got? Obviously on the slides it kind of shows the dates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about what happens if this is approved.
Yeah, the first thing is I would need you and Director Toth to sign a resolution today before we leave. And then next steps, we're in the process of getting some underwriters on board. Once they're on board, we would then next meet with the rating agencies in February, S&P and Moody's. We teach them a little bit about the financial health of the agency. Right now we have very good ratings with both of those entities. I think a AA+ with S&P and a AA1 with Moody's. And we would anticipate keeping those strong ratings. Then the next step after our ratings are issued is we would, with RBC, we would travel to New York to meet our underwriters, and we'd sell the debt in early March, very early March there. And closing about 1 month later. That's a little bit of a lag compared to regular closing, and that's just to do with that HERF 2016 and when it's truly able to be refunded. So it's like timing it right at the beginning of that.
Okay, thank you. Any board members have any questions? All right, is there a motion to approve authorizing the issuance of Highway Revenue Series 2026 bonds as presented for the support of the highway construction program?
Mr. Chairman,
Member Altus.
I move to authorize the 2026 bond issuance as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Member Elters and a second by Member Bracker. Any further discussion amongst the board? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? And the chair votes aye, and the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Best of luck. You do have some big shoes to fill, and we don't like seeing those negative numbers, even if they're within our constraints.
Same here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because Christine never said no when the board or the director wanted to spend money. She always said yes. So that's the bar that's set out there.
Look, I know that's coming.
All right, we will move on to the Multimodal Planning Division report with Matt.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Matt Mall, Multimodal Planning Division Director for ADOT. I'm just pausing for the slides, Chairman.
No worries.
Russell Mock, are you able to call up presentation number 7, item 7?
Next slide, please. So Texas DOT is interested in learning how peer DOTs integrate land use planning with planning, programming, and project development. ADOT was identified as a priority case because of our statewide long-range planning framework and planning and programming process, strong coordination with MPOs, COGS, and rural partners, corridor profile studies, and corridor-based planning approach, as well as our tribal consultation policy and tribal liaison roles. Several peer-to-peer information exchange meetings will be scheduled this month in January of 2026. Next slide, please. On December 18th, the SR 264 corridor planning study, the project final report is completed and the study recommendations will be integrated into ADOT's planning and programming process. The next step, it's expected that ADOT, the Hopi Tribe, and various stakeholder agencies will partner on implementing priority study recommendations. On January 7th, the Next Move Arizona listening tour held a tribal consultation meeting with the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community to hear tribal perspectives on regional transportation needs and the future of the state transportation system and its connection to the tribal community. On December 25th, the Havasupai Tribe welcomed a newly elected leader, Melinda Yaiva, as the chairwoman. On January 5th, ADOT released its weekly podcast, which includes a discussion with Desba Hatathli, the ADOT Native Nation Ambassador, on the ADOT Tribal Relation Team's role working with tribes on ADOT projects and considerations for drivers when traveling through tribal lands. The podcast can be located on the ADOT website by clicking on the podcast topic link at the top of the homepage or subscribing like the director suggested earlier. Next slide, please. So the Osterman gas station, the Wallapai tribe was awarded additional transportation alternatives program funds to redevelop the historic Osterman gas station. This gas station is located in Peach Springs, Arizona on historic Route 66. A notice to proceed was issued to the consultant Kimley Horn on December 2nd of last year. An official project kickoff meeting was held this week on January 13th with tribal representation and key stakeholders. An initial project site visit will be conducted on January 27th. A summary of architectural services will include the site visit, existing conditions documentation, a feasibility study and report, programming and space planning, conceptual design, and cost estimating. The project team agreed that a full project design cannot be completed until scoping is first done due to the unique complexities of this rehabilitation and the age of the site. That's all I have for you today. Any questions?
Any questions from the members of the board? And it's all you have for us now. We'll see you later in the program.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Absolutely, Director.
I just wanted to say this will be Matt's last meeting as the Multimodal Planning Division Director. He's been promoted to the Project Delivery and Operations Division Director. And just wanted to say thank you for his time with MPD and leading the planning for this organization.
Thank you, Matt. All right, we'll move on to item A, which is the Arizona State Match Advantage for Rural Transportation. As we all know, AZ SMART program. Bob is
Good morning, Mr. Chair and the members of the board. For record, my name is Iqbal Hussain. I will be presenting today items 8 and 9. Item 8, which is AZ Smart Applications Funds. So under the AZ Smart program, I have 2 items to present for discussions and possible actions. First one is recession of an AZ Smart Match Award granted to SIMPO, which is Central Yavapai Metropolitan Planning Organization. And the second one is the biannual redistribution of AZ Smart funds. So, next slide, please. So I'll begin with the rescission of an AZ Smart Match Award granted to SIMPO. The board granted a match award to SIMPO in September 2025 in the amount of $125,000. And the award was intended to match SIMPO's application for the Chino Valley Safety Action Plan project under the Federal Safe Streets for All grant program. And last month, SIMPO informed ADOT that their grant application was unsuccessful and requested rescinding the match award. Next slide, please. So today's requested action is rescinding the AZ Smart award of $125,000 to SIMPO.
Any board member have any questions on this action? All right, can I get a motion by a member of the board?
Mr. Chairman, given that this is in District 6, I would say I make a motion to approve the rescission of SIMPO's award in the amount of $125,000.
All right, we have a motion by member Elters. Second?
Second.
Second by member Daniels. Any further discussion on this issue? All right, all those in favor, please acknowledge by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, and I as well. So that motion passes unanimously. And while we go on to the AZ Smart Fund redistribution.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and the members of the board for approving the rescission. Next, we'll move on to the semi-annual redistribution of AZ Smart funds. Next slide, please. Perfect. As the board is aware, the 2024 legislation provides an opportunity to rebalance the total available funding twice a year, once in January, once in July. And the funds must be evenly distributed across 5 funding categories. As shown in the red box on the current available for awards line, the total amount available for redistribution is $13.9 million. And the yellow highlighted line shows the results of the rebalancing, with each category reset as at $2.78 million. Next slide, please. So the requested action is approval of the January redistribution across all funding categories.
Are there any questions for any members of the board for it all on the redistribution? I did have one question that I had asked in advance. By statute, when we redistribute, it has to be even across all categories. So we weren't allowed to move more into any one. If you look at the numbers, the municipalities above 10K are the ones that tend to get the most use of that. So they have the most money moved into their accounts. But by statute, we have to spread it evenly for starting. And there is another opportunity, I believe, in July to redistribute again. And hopefully I personally hope we'll see some money in the legislative budget by then that will add to this program, because this program has been a huge success. So do I have any motion to redistribute the AZ Smart funds?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we redistribute the proceeds of AZ Smart.
I have a motion by member Bracker. Second by member Peshlikai. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I am also an aye, so we approved that as well unanimously. All right, Iqbal, let's move on to item 9.
Yes. Next slide, please. Great, thank you. Then I'll move on to item number 9, Priority Planning Advisory Committee items for discussion and possible action. We have 3 categories of projects to present: project modifications, new projects, and airport projects. And as usual, I plan to group all categories under one motion for board's consideration. Next slide, please. Thank you. I would like to present the proposed changes to the FY 2026 through FY 2030 State Transportation Facilities Construction Program, items 9A through 9G, project modifications. The next slide, please. Item 9H through 9K, new projects. And finally, next slide please. Item 9L is airport project. And for the board's consideration, the requested action is approval of Priority Planning Advisory Committee items 9A through 9L.
Any questions for Paul on any of these issues? And as I understand it, you're asking us to approve both of them simultaneously.
All three. The new projects.
Absolutely. 9A through
9L, yes.
Okay, just so everybody's aware, I have made one request of them in the future on two of the projects. They're moving the funds to the 49926 sub-program. Which I say, what's that? And it's actually keeping the funding inside of MAG because it was a MAG decision to defund, and they're going to keep the money there. So in the future, instead of showing sub-programs, they're going to show the actual name of where it's going to go, so we'll have a better understanding. So based on that, I'm going to go off the script. Floyd's not shaking his head no, so I know it's okay. Yep. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve items 9A through 9L?
Mr. Chairman,
Member Elders.
I move to approve the priority planning projects 9A through 9L.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Member Elders and a second by Vice Chair Howard. Any further discussion? Okay, all the members who are in favor, please acknowledge by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? I'm an aye as well, so that passes unanimously. Thank you, all appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. And Matt, we thought he was done with us already. I'd like you to come back up for item 10, the state engineers.
Good morning again. So we'll start with an update district by district of the projects we have that are active statewide. Next slide, please. And I'll go ahead and just go through district by district, and if you have any questions, go ahead and stop me and I'll try to answer them. This is the South Central District. Next slide. The North Central District. Next slide. The Southwest District, which appears incredibly busy. Next slide. The Southeast District. Next slide. Northwest District. Next slide. The Northeast District. Next slide. And finally, the Central District. No questions. We'll go on to the next slide. We currently have 106 projects under construction, valued at roughly $2.4 billion. We finalized 3 projects in December, valued at $12.1 million. And fiscal year to date, we finalized 56 projects. Next slide, please. In January, we awarded one project on US 180 for $6.174 million, and that is our total for the month. Fiscal year to date, we've awarded $694.521 million. Next slide, please. Like on the previous slide, 6.174 fiscal year to date, we've opened 66 bids, awarded 61 projects, valued at that $694.521 million. Next slide, please. This is actually item 11A. You want me to just go ahead and roll into that, Chairman?
No, first, thank you for that presentation. I'd like to both the speed of it, but it still gave us enough time to take a look at all that's really going on in the state. And that's the reminder we've got to remember how much is truly, really going on in the state when it comes to infrastructure. Doesn't mean we wouldn't necessarily like more, but we are accomplishing a lot on that front. Does any member have a question regarding the state engineer's report from Matt. Vice Chair.
I just want to make sure we're keeping to like the 2 maintenance projects that we delayed in order to fund the 347, and that they're still on the table. So when we have that funding available, we can reinstate those programs. Thank you, and good luck in your new decision.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to item 11. We have, I believe, a single contract for consideration.
That's correct. This is a project for the town of Gilbert located at Muse Road and Higley Road. We are requesting postponement of action. The bids came in higher than the engineer's estimate. The town wishes to proceed with the contract. We need to allow them time to go through the approval process and accounting process to reallocate those funds so they can be transferred to us and we can award. We've spoken with the contractor. They're willing to honor their bid as it stands. The town of Gilbert wants to move forward, so we expect to bring this back to the board next month for action.
I've got one question before I ask for a motion. So because they're honoring their bid, have they given a time frame on how long they'll keep that bid static?
Their bid, they're only required to honor their bid for 60 days, and they've agreed to allow us the time necessary to bring it back to the board next month.
Okay, thank you. Does any other board member have any questions before I ask for a motion on this one? All right, can I get a motion from a member to postpone item 11A?
So moved.
I was thinking that was
I'll second that motion.
all right, thank you. We've got a motion for a project, for this postpone this project in Gilbert by member Daniels and a second by member Elters. Any further discussion? All right, both of you can acknowledge your support for this motion by saying aye.
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 Any opposition? I'm an aye as well, so it postponement passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Very much. All right, we have one change that we have to make to amend the 2026 board meeting public hearing dates. Lloyd, you want to describe them a little bit?
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Chair, when I took your recommendation to sites and I started talking to people, I gave them options like what month, and so I had written down and I got confused. I guess I'm getting old, you know, and it goes back. I transposed a couple of commitments that people had said they wanted. So June 19th was Santa Cruz County will be in Nogales. That was a date they committed to, and so we're good. And then July 17th would be the city of Chandler. And I had those mixed up a little bit when I was writing down when I finally heard back from them on their dates. So I'm asking to make those changes.
We will make those changes. I didn't really want you to have to throw yourself under the bus, but you know, this happens.
It happens.
It happens.
I don't know. I'm not ashamed of the fact I'm not perfect. Just ask my wife. She's not ashamed to tell you either.
Yeah, that's right. All right, can I get a motion from the board to approve those two meeting date changes?
Mr. Chairman, I move to change these 2 meeting dates.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by member Brecker, second by Vice Chair Howard. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition? I'm an aye as well, so the motion carries unanimously. All right, so real quick, we do have a upcoming study session. And Floyd, if you could you just remind the folks who are here and who are listening in on what those topics will be at that study session?
So it's February 5th. It'll be all virtual. We'll post the link probably within the next week or so once we finish this meeting and move forward. There will be two items. One, obviously, is we will roll out staff's recommendation of the tentative program, which will define the funding element for it, as well as the major project kind of distribution along the different categories of preservation, modernization, and any expansion. So we lay out the tentative as the strong arm that we take so we can finalize the printing and get ready to post it for public comment. Public hearing will be in May. It's kind of follow our timeline. So the study session is the first time we're working with the board, gathering some comments, so we can bring it back to the board at the February meeting to get approval on the final draft, and then we can start the public comment period. The second topic would be the financial report that Christine has been presenting to legislators and to like the World Summit last year and other people on the health of finances and kind of the transportation funding future and some of those issues. To start the conversation, Mr. Chair, as you and even the previous chair, Ms. Daniels, had wanted the discussion, start talking about revenues and how we are going to meet our commitments to maintain the system, expand the system, and make it functional for all.
Thank you, Floyd. Any other comments regarding the study session or anything in general from any members of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend that this study session not have a call to the public. And the public will have an opportunity to express their concerns at the regular board meeting. If we do that, it gives us more time to have discourse on some topics that we are studying.
Okay, I'm going to turn real quick to staff. Is there any problem with that, Floyd?
Mr. Chairman, we turn to the board's attorney who is online, Michelle Bootsman, and ask her if that would be any type of a statutory issue or public issue. It's not really called to the audience. Michelle, are you there?
This is Michelle. Yes, I am. This is Michelle Livingston. The chair can make a decision to actually forego the public comment without a problem.
Okay, thank you on that one. So it's back on me. I'm going to turn and see if any other members of the board have any input to foregoing the call to the audience. At the study session, we do have a February meeting scheduled down in Pima County.
Yes, sir.
So that would be full up. So anybody have any concerns about foregoing, since this is our first exposure to the 5-year plan? It's our first opportunity to really take a look at it, as well as to some of the discussions we've had on funding statewide.
Absolutely, yes, sir. That's where we gather the input from the board so we can get ready to approve it in February, take it to the public.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just weigh in and say, just the title of the session, a study session, it really doesn't imply that it's intended for the board to receive for the first time the draft 5-year construction program that will be rolled out to the public. I think there's value in concentrating on what's in it, having an opportunity to discuss, ask questions, get answers, opine, and offer insight. Understanding full well that the board is not making any decisions at this study session, and it will be acted on in the regular State Transportation Board meeting in February. So I see value in that, and I would support it. Thank you.
I'll just add that any time someone wants to communicate with the board, they have the opportunity to do that through an email. So it doesn't preclude anybody from submitting email comments to the board in advance of that. And I think it does help with the efficiency of the study session to be able to just dive right in and crank out some good work.
Thank you. Thank you both for those comments. Any other thoughts? Okay, I fully agree with everything we've heard from the stage, because I think many folks, especially in this room who've been involved in advocacy with the board, know our emails can be quite heavily. So you can get that information from ADOT. And I'm going to go ahead and Floyd asked call the audience not to be included on the study session purposes, just that study feedback and conversation amongst the board.
Yes, sir.
We welcome the public to tune in and listen to see, so that they can learn at the same time as we're learning on some of this. And you can also hear what our thoughts are and our comments are. You might want to then participate in the call of the audience if you did not like any of the things we said at that point. So I think it will be a better and efficient use of staff and board time for a true study session. Any other suggestions? And thank you, Member Rucker, for bringing that one up. All right, hearing nothing, I officially adjourn the January meeting. Thank you, everybody, for your participation and attendance.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say